They say time heals all wounds. But what if it didn't have to? What if you could walk into a clinic, lie down, close your eyes, and wake up without the pain, the trauma, the grief that's haunted you for years? It sounds like science fiction, but for decades, scientists and governments have been quietly trying to erase memories. Not with magic, but with needles, chemicals, and sometimes electricity. And the people who became test subjects discovered a truth far darker than anyone imagined. When you delete a memory, you don't just erase the pain, you erase a piece of yourself. The story begins in Montreal, 1950s. A psychiatrist named Dr. Ewen Cameron believed he could cure mental illness by wiping the mind clean, like hitting reset on a computer. His patients came in suffering from depression, anxiety, or postpartum struggles. Many thought they'd get therapy, maybe medication. Instead, they were drugged with massive doses of LSD, kept in medically induced comas, and blasted with repetitive messages for weeks at a time. When they woke up, many had no memory of their families. Some forgot how to speak, how to use the bathroom, even who they were. Cameron called it psychic driving. The CIA called it MKUltra, and the patients called it hell. The strange thing is, his dream didn't die, because the idea of erasing pain has always been irresistible. In the 2000s, researchers at Emory University began experimenting with a drug called propranolol, a common heart medication. They discovered that if given right after recalling a traumatic memory, it could dull the brain's emotional connection to that memory. Not erase it completely, but sand down its edges, blunt its sharpness. Imagine remembering your worst day, but feeling nothing. Just emptiness. Some called it a miracle, others called it a new kind of lobotomy. And that's the haunting paradox. We think of memories as stories we own, treasures locked safely in our minds. But memories aren't perfect recordings. They're fragile, flexible, rewritable. Every time you recall one, you change it just a little. Scientists have learned how to hijack that process. Rats trained to fear a sound suddenly lose their fear when the right drug is injected at the right moment. Entire associations vanish. But here's the twist. The brain doesn't just erase the pain, it erases connections. Love tied to grief, wisdom tied to suffering, the scars that make us human. One woman who took part in an early study described it like this: "I wanted to forget the car accident. Instead, I forgot how to feel joy when I looked at my daughter. It was like I'd traded one ghost for another today." The frontier has moved even further. In labs across the world, scientists are experimenting with lasers, gene editing, and optogenetics, turning specific neurons on and off like light switches. The goal? To target one memory and delete it cleanly. The ethical dilemma is staggering. Would you erase the memory of an abusive childhood, the loss of a loved one, a crime you committed, or would forgetting simply strip away the lessons buried in pain? Because what is a human being if not a collection of memories, even the ones we wish we didn't have? The truth is, the ability to delete memories isn't about healing, it's about control. If governments once dreamed of soldiers who forgot what they'd seen on the battlefield, or spies who carried secrets they couldn't remember, what happens when that power becomes real? What happens when corporations offer to rewrite your heartbreak for a price? Would you pay? Would you risk losing more than you bargained for? At the end of his life, Dr. Cameron's patients sued him for destroying who they were. Some never recovered their memories. Others lived with fragments, like shattered mirrors of a past they couldn't fully reclaim. And maybe that's the warning. That memory is not just pain we want to cut away. It is also the thread that ties us to meaning, to each other, to ourselves. Erase the scars and you may erase the story. In the end, the question isn't whether scientists can delete memories. The question is whether we should, because the very thing we are trying to escape might be the very thing that makes us human. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to Matrix Mindsets. Thank you.